Everybody, welcome back to Supernatural Eye. My name is Francesca Garcia. I am your host and lead investigator of this show. I'm very excited to announce we are here to discuss the one and only paranormal celebrity, Robert the Doll. Yes, I'm talking about Robert the Doll, the famous voodoo doll. For all you paranormal freaks out there who definitely know who Robert the Doll is, but for those of you who have not heard of him, I am sure you have heard of him. If you've seen the horror film Chucky, the movie Chucky, definitely Chucky is Robert the Doll. So pretty much the story of Robert, the film Chucky, I meant to say, was inspired by the story of Robert, and that's how Hollywood created Chucky, I guess. So Chucky is Robert. He is a known paranormal sensation in the paranormal world, and I am very happy and excited to discuss him because he's been a dream on my bucket list to investigate. Crew members on this episode was Melissa Ward, Nick Rogers, and Caleb Warner. Us four decided to drive down to Key West, Florida, and tackle this fort. We went around, it was July during the summertime 2014. So we took a little road trip and went down to Key West to meet Robert himself. Before we get to our narrative and like our experience with Robert the Doll and what we got ourselves involved with, I definitely want to talk about his story and his background, so you guys can get familiarized pretty much what we dabbled with. So here we go. During the early 1900s, there's this little boy named Robert Eugene Otto. He was known to be given a doll, a very famous voodoo doll. And there's a little bit of like two stories I've heard. I heard that his grandfather could have given him the doll, but I'm going to give you the version that pretty much was told on our ghost tour. So from my understanding, it was a servant that gave him, a bohemian servant that gave him the doll that was cursed. And the story goes that, I'm going to call the little boy Gene because he obviously gave Robert the name Robert, his main name Robert, to give it to the doll. So that's how attached he became to this doll and how possessive he was of this doll. And likewise, they had that mutual relationship, I guess you can say. But he went to be called by his middle name, which is Eugene, and nicknamed Gene. So I'm going to call him in this series Gene Otto. But anyways, Gene Otto had parents, I'm going to call them the Ottos. But anyways, they were known to have a lot of slaves, and they treated their slaves really bad, poorly, and inhumane treatment. So pretty much this bohemian servant did it out of revenge to curse the Otto family. Story goes that the mom found, I guess, one of the servants, including this one that gave, Gene the doll, found them outside doing black magic and voodoo rituals. Therefore, she got really upset and fired them all. So before the servant left, I guess she gave Robert the doll as a gift, or a going away gift, and therefore Robert has wreaked havoc upon this family, and we'll get to that here just shortly. So Gene became very attached to the doll and literally slept with him, like just was at the hip with him. Noises he heard, like the parents heard, like, Gene, talking in the bedroom, and also heard like a third party voice and like different weird deep sound and voices going on. So they come up and ask, hey, what are you doing? He's like, I'm talking to Robert. So just like nothing. Noises like furniture, like just being tossed around the room. So they go to check on it, and his famous line and word is, Robert did it. I was just getting a phone call in. So, yeah, I do apologize for the interruption. That was creepy, though, when I said Robert did it, that happened. But anyways, that could be coincidental. But anywho, to get back on topic, yes, his famous line is, Robert did it. Robert did all these, whatever it was, tossed out furniture, made some noise, glass being broken. Robert did it. So they had this strange, pretty much toxic relationship between the doll and Gene Otto. Pretty much some of the things that happened. Also, before we get to some of the events that happened throughout their history, there was like how attached their relationship was. In other words, There, I'm going to show you the photo of pretty much Gene Otto. He was in a sailor outfit, so let me show you that real quick. So you could see the sailor outfit, and that same outfit was given to the doll Robert. So I'm going to show you a picture of Robert right now. So that same outfit was put on Robert. So till this day, what you see at the museum, that is Gene Otto's outfit. What was seen on that previous photo, that is what Robert, that's Robert's attire. In other words, that's what he's wearing. So just to show you how attached, their relationship was, and how crazy it is that, yeah, Robert wears Gene Otto's old childhood clothes. So pretty much what happened was that in the middle of the night, Gene Otto woke up screaming and crying, and apparently Robert, the parents come in, and Robert was like at the edge of the bed. They hear them talking upstairs, and they even hear like sometimes demonic voices and just crazy stuff like that. Anyways, Gene Otto grew up. He became an artist, a really well-known artist in Key West. And when his parents died, I guess he took Robert with him this whole entire time. But when his parents died, he moved back into the house with his wife named Anne. When Anne met Robert the doll, she was not a fan of Robert the doll. Pretty much, Gene had Robert like an actual brother or human being. He like sat him at the dinner table. He had his own room. Like literally, he respected him like he was a being, and made sure that everybody respected him. Like he needed to be respected. So that kind of weirded out his wife, and his wife wasn't a big fan. Likewise, Robert was not a fan of his wife. So much that it freaked his wife out that she had to lock him up in the attic at the artist's house. Yes, this house still exists and is a bed and breakfast till this day. But I guess they locked him up in the attic, and pretty much he did not like it and was really mad and caused chaos up there and whatnot. And pretty much the wife swore that Robert haunted her due to that, and like woke up and gave her nightmares and bad dreams, to the point that she wanted Gene to get rid of the doll officially, but he refused to. And just that was the story of it. So pretty much the wife was just not a big fan of it. And the words that always, like something happened at the house, obviously Robert did it. Robert was the main cause of whatever situation of what was going on. So Robert haunting, and it got so bad to the point that finally he had to be located to another room. So they had to remove him from the attic and moved him to another room. And he was a little bit satisfied, but there's always threats that Robert wanted to kill the wife or Anne. Even guests that came over that taunted the doll, there's been incidents that Robert has severely injured them and have killed them as well, from rumor goes. Anyways, later on, Gene Otto died in 1974, and he actually died in Robert's room. So he died next to Robert, which is really eerie that Robert was there when Gene Otto took his last breath. From there on, the wife Anne wanted to get rid of the house and wanted to get rid of Robert himself. So there were new homeowners that moved in, and rumor has it that Anne eventually died, and that, she haunts the artist's house, that her soul is trapped there, just like Gene Otto's soul is trapped at the artist's house. So a new homeowner moves in, and pretty much, experiences the same thing. She had like a 10-year-old daughter, from my understanding, or something like that, and I got fascinated with the doll and thought that there's a doll in the attic. Before Anne passed away, she put the doll back in the attic. Sorry, let me take that back. And that 10-year-old daughter, new owner's 10-year-old girl daughter, I guess saw the doll and got fascinated with it, but then soon discovered that it is not just your ordinary doll, it is a haunted doll, and gave them nightmares and wreaked havoc as well, I guess, didn't like the new homeowners. So she got freaked out and gave Robert away to where he's at right now, the Fort East Martello Museum. And he has been scaring tourists at that museum since 1994. And rumor also has it that the new homeowner, after giving the doll away, passed away a couple months after the fact. So just to show you that Robert is not one to mess around with. Till this day, people taunt him, skeptics taunt him, and don't believe him and say things to him, or if you take a picture without his permission, kind of thing, whatever. If you disrespect the doll, he's gonna come after you, and it really is not a joke. Till this day, he gets numerous letters and asking for forgiveness or whatever the case is, and he's just not one that you want to mess around with, in other words. So skeptics, do not mess with Robert the doll. As tempting as it is to test out the theory if Robert can really truly haunt you, please do not taunt Robert the doll. If you ever go check him out at the East Fort Martello Museum, I highly recommend you respect him. Truly and honestly respect him. We will discuss it later on, but one of our crew members definitely, let's say in other words, disrespected Robert, and we'll discuss a little bit of what happened during that, experience, I guess you could say. But for sure, don't do it. Respect him, and that's what I suggest. So anyways, let's jump to our experience and what we encountered with Robert himself. Anyways, moving on. So we pretty much took on Key West. So it was Melissa, Nick, Caleb, and I. We took a road trip down to Key West, Florida, to go visit Mr. Robert. And I was very fascinated by Robert's story. Always been a big fan, and I was very anxious to meet him. So I did my research and kind of dragged everybody along. So that was that. This was more of a ghost tour per se than an investigation. So really what they did is they kind of took us on these haunted locations or spots in Key West, gave us a little bit of a story of what happened and the haunted occurrences. So sometimes you can capture evidence on a ghost tour. Obviously, you'll get more evidence during an investigation, but sometimes you can capture a lot of evidence during a ghost tour as well. And before we get to that, I will show you what we've captured. But in the meantime, this was more of a ghost tour, but our main attraction was Robert the doll at the East Martello Museum. So that is that. I know that the team pretty much provided us some paranormal equipment. It was not really much or too many equipment or devices that we use, but what they did give us was an EMF detector, and I think I explained to you guys what an EMF detector was. It's a scientific tool that detects electromagnetic energy in the field range. So pretty much this is what an EMF is. Sometimes you'll see a millimeter, which is a more sophisticated device, but this is your basic EMF, and it measures milligausses, so it goes from 1.5 to 20 plus milligausses and up. So this is a device we use more commonly, where you'll see paranormal investigators use, but this is it. So it pretty much, we believe what ghosts or spirits are made of electromagnetic energy. So this is it. This is the device they handed us, and we used it along the museum, and I will then show you what we captured. So before we arrived at the museum, there was this guy on our ghost tour, I recall. He must have been like in his 60s or something, and reminding you, I didn't have my equipment at the time. This is my starting phases as being an investigator. So during episode 1, you saw that I didn't have any of my equipment. Episode 2 will be just the same way. This investigation / tour, I didn't have any devices. I didn't invest in that yet. You'll see that coming up in episode 3, which that will get more exciting, but again, we'll get to that later on. But anyways, I recall this guy having his like little equipment, and I could for some reason envision myself in the future being this guy. It was really weird, but anyways, he had his little ghost equipment and stuff like that. And I forgot what stop. We were like at this parking lot, and I completely forgot why we stopped there or what the story was at the time. But I took some snaps for some reason. I took multiple shots. I'm going to show you, but there was I guess you could say an orb that was captured. I don't know if it's a legit orb because I could say that it was, here, before we get to that, let me show you the segment. So I'm going to show you the picture of what the orb was captured. So as you saw that, you could see there's like a cone on the side and it could have some reflectors on it. So I thought at first, okay, debunked, there could be something reflecting off the cone and it's created the illusion as an orb, but it's probably not an orb. It's just probably some, again, dust particle or something or a light reflection off the cone. But yeah, I was taking multiple snaps because reminding you when you take a photo, you have to take multiple snaps afterwards so you can compare and contrast. So I did, and on the other photos, I didn't see that same orb. So I'm gonna leave that as unexplainable, and I'm gonna show you actually the other photos so you can compare as well. So you tell me what you think it is, but as of right now, we're gonna leave it unexplained. So anyways, we arrived at the museum and this is where it gets interesting. So before I even get off the little dolly cart, I took multiple snaps of the front of the museum and I am going to show you I captured. This is probably the most significant photo capture evidence I have on this trip. For the East Martello Museum. So it is really cool. I was really proud of myself and I will show you another photo which was blank. So here I'm going to show you the first ones that are blank. Now I am going to show you the photo that I am proud to say I've captured. So here we go. Yeah, holy moly. You could see a bunch of orbs. And I know some of them are kind of mixed in with some dust particles, but at the end of the day, these are legit orbs. You could see there's weird, you know, light. It's if you look at the other photos, obviously there's no comparison. You can't debunk that. And I tried to, obviously, by taking multiple shots. So it was really cool that you could see what type of energy we're getting ourselves involved into and what we're stepping in. Or is this the energy that is manifesting all over Robert the doll? Or is this Robert the doll staring at the pot here? Like, I don't know, but it's definitely a really, really cool photo I captured, and I'm so proud of it. So tell me what you guys think, but definitely it was the highlight of my trip was this photo captured. So I'm very proud. So, anyways, arriving at the museum, definitely, it's like you felt that energy surrounding you. It's crazy and it was surreal. Um, Definitely, what else? The EMF, the device I showed you earlier, it was going off when we first were about to go in. I couldn't tell if it could have been the electronics by the others that were surrounding us, but and I mean others as in people, not spirits. But anyways, it could be their cell phones or if they had cameras. Yeah, it could be, but it was weird. So I thought that was kind of odd too. So I'm not going to say that was paranormal, but anyways, right away, before we get to our narrative, once we go inside the museum, I did want to mention that Robert the doll is currently tied up in like a fishing net or whatever you call it, something that's sturdy enough to hold him down. Rumor has it that he moves around the museum, and he's a very active doll. In other words, he walks around, he haunts the staff, the building, and he plays tricks. And not even that, he harms others as well. Again, this is a real life Chucky doll that we're talking about. So he'll move items around the museum. His facial expressions will change. So one moment he'll be happy, the other moment he'll be upset or angry or whatever. He causes devices to malfunction, as in cameras, cell phones, whatever the case is. But mostly reported is the staff and their experiences that they have, and they're very scared of Robert, especially one that has to close late at night and open up the museum in the morning. They feel like every time they pass his exhibit, it's like he's watching him, or they're hearing him like chuckle or laugh or something, or even taps on the glass. Literally, he is tied down No joke. Even his little line, I thought it was a dog at first, but he has like this little line here. And he's tied down, just restrained down, and just for him not to move. And he's also contained in this like glass that's sealed as well. So that is to avoid him from moving. If he wasn't tied down, then he was able to pick up that glass apparently. So very interesting. And another fun fact about Robert the doll, he's 111 years old. So they say he's aging like a human being, but he's there and he's very active. Anyways, moving on. So there are 3 rules that you must know about Robert and that you have to follow. So before we went in, our tour guide advises us these rules, highly advises us that we follow through. So the first rule is introduce yourself to Robert. Robert, again, likes to be treated like a human being. So he wants you to be polite and introduce yourself to him. So that's the first rule. The second rule is if you're going to take a photo or video of him, you must ask permission. He feels like if you take a photo without his permission, you're disrespecting him and he will come after you. He will haunt you. So yes, there's been many people have reported this experience. They haven't said anything to Robert, but they just accidentally forgot to take a photo and they still get haunted. So just, if you do that, make sure you ask permission. If you feel stupid about it, doesn't matter. Always ask, okay? Third rule is pretty much the most obvious rule. Do not taunt or disrespect Robert. Definitely, if you do that, Robert's going to come pay you a visit no matter what. Or he's going to, give you bad luck. You're going to be cursed. So highly advise, do not do that. Even if you're a skeptic, do not taunt Robert. Big warning and a big no, do not do it. Okay, so let's get to what happened to us. So we walk in, and immediately once we walk into the museum, Nick was actually right in front of me. So I remember Nick walked in, and right away he felt, and I felt too, but he was the first one to go in. He felt like there was like this dark, oppressive feeling in the building, and it was more towards the right hand side. He even made a comment, I remember, saying like, this room here, we haven't even walked into the room yet, but he's like, this room right here, there's something weird about it. There's just, I don't know, there's something weird about this weird like room here. And he's not very much of a person, I guess you could say, that believes in ghosts. Like, he was just kind of like in for the ride, having fun. He was just that character. So I guess he just came in with an open mind, but whatever the case is, I thought that was interesting that he made that comment. I felt it as well, but I just like to observe others and see how they react to it before I start commenting on things and start feeding the idea of the chain reaction or the domino effect or whatever you want to say. But anyways, so as we walk to that right-hand side room, pretty much that is where Robert's exhibit's at. So right away, you will see Robert, and he's in his little case. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes and show you Robert tied down. So let me show you that photo real quick of Mr. Robert the doll. So now seeing Robert, that's him. He is a very creepy doll, as you can tell. Definitely, I would not want to mess with the little guy, and follow those basic rules, and you should be solid. So I asked permission to take a photo with Robert, because obviously I had to, because that is Robert the doll. This is the guy I researched. This is a known paranormal celebrity in our world. So I definitely was just an odd right now. I'm like, I need to take a photo. So I asked him for permission. I introduced myself. I'm like, hello, Robert. My name is Franny, or whatever. At the time, I think I said Franny because my friends call me Franny. May I take a photo of you? So I asked my friend Melissa if she could take a photo of me. With Robert. So I'm actually going to show you my photo with Robert. So check that out. So I don't know if my friend thought it was funny at the time, or Melissa thought it was funny that I asked him permission, but whatever. I did that because I wanted to follow the rules. And shortly afterwards, I don't know what she was thinking, but she straight up told Robert to go fuck off. loud as day, clear as day, because she's very loud. She told the doll to go. Everyone in that room literally just gasped. Like, I would never forget it, and it brought chills down my spine and just everywhere around my body. I was just so, I couldn't believe it that she told the one rule that it suggested not to do, she went ahead and did it anyways, like to test out the freaking theory. Even the tour guide gasped and was like, made that face like, oh no, like, what have you done? What have you done? I was like, what the hell have you done? So obviously I was not very happy with my friend, and I was just like, what are you doing? Like, that's the one thing I told you to do. You know, I know you don't believe in it. What are you doing? Like, do not say that. Like, now I feel like I'm cursed because of you and whatever. You're gonna bring this, juju against us, and that's not fair. Like, what are you doing? So I obviously flipped out. But she was just being assertive that, Fran, seriously, look at these. She was pointing out the tour guide because she was all dressed up in like this spooky era, and I guess she was trying to do it to bring the attraction of the paranormal tour, but that was the point. She was like, this is a tourist attraction, this is a bunch of BS. Literally, look how she's dressed. She's just getting your money. Like, this doll is probably a freaking replica of the original doll, and who knows what. It's fake, it's not real. So obviously, again, it's hard to change sometimes skeptic minds like that. So you do the best you can, in other words. So I was like, I hope you're right. But in the meantime, I don't feel like even the energy in the room has shifted to a darker energy. Like, it was already oppressive, and now it was like beyond. Like, pretty much if I was stepping into the gates of hell, like that was pretty much the feeling of it. And I was just like thinking in my head, I'm going to be screwed just because we were on the same trip. We rode along together. I hope nothing bad happens to us, even on the ride back. I was just freaking out because obviously Robert the doll is known for that. Like, he's known to cause chaos. If anybody taunts him, he could possibly even kill you, but he causes car accidents, divorces, and any other, negative issues that go on in your life. He will cause that. So that was that. Anyways, everybody ended up leaving. They kind of give us the explanation of Robert's story. And the one older guy that I was telling you guys about, that were on the trolley bus, and he had like his little equipment and stuff. Him and I, for some reason, like, everybody was leaving, but I don't know why I felt the need to stay, but I felt like I had to stay. And he was there. Like, I think him and I had like shared the same old soul kind of thing, because we were just like, I just never forget it. Like, everybody was already outside. Even like my crew that I was with was outside waiting for me, but I just felt the need to stay with him. And we were just observing Robert. It was just the weirdest thing. We were just like looking at his case and observing him. And I remember I had the EMF, and I was starting to ask like yes or no questions. But before that, I apologized to Robert on my behalf, but not only on my behalf, but on Melissa's behalf, because I'm like, oh my gosh, Robert, I am so sorry. I know I brought these people with me, and I apologize, and I'm so sorry. I did not come here to disrespect you. My friend's an idiot. She did not mean to say that, but please do not come after us. Like, please, I'm here to respect you. This is why I'm taking the time to stay afterwards. Like, please, forgive me, and I'm so sorry. Please know that I highly respect you. So maybe that's what worked in my favor, because I don't feel like I got cursed after that experience. But anyways, I did apologize to him, and he was there actually to hear me say that. So I think he kind of just tagged along to see if there's any reactions. And it was so weird because when I said that, the EMF started going off. And like, I don't know if he confirmed it. I assume that he did, saying that you are forgiven, because knock on wood, still to this day, I am not haunted, or at least by Robert the doll. I mean, I've been cursed on some situations, but in this situation, I don't feel like it's from Robert the doll. So that was that. And we just kind of started asking a little bit some yes or no questions, like, are you here? Do you want us to leave, kind of thing? And, he was kind of making it go off. On the leave question, he didn't really respond. But again, I think he was trying to take a video of it, and for some reason the video malfunctioned, the camera malfunctioned. So we couldn't take really like any evidence of the EMF going off or any video surveillance of that, because I don't think Robert wanted it to be shown. But anyways, I did capture some cool photos of Robert. And then you saw the orb photos earlier of it, of the museum. So I believe that was part of his energy and also the surrounding spirits that are at the museum as well. So Robert's not the only one, but he is the main celebrity, obviously. And rumor has it that when Robert, he goes on like once a year to some paranormal event that's like an hour away, or I think it's in Miami or something like that. And when Robert leaves the museum, it gets very active at night. So, yeah, I guess they get really upset when he leaves and they want him back. So sometimes they have to even rush him back to the museum because just things start going crazy and just, yeah, like property getting damaged. Cats, I guess they have cats, like a protection cat that's there or something, like a mascot, and I guess he gets abused, or it's messed up to say, but I don't know. The spirits taunt him, in other words, if Robert doesn't come back, which is really sad. But anyways, so that's the story. Robert is very protective of that place, and that's where he currently resides since 1994. So anyways, going back to our bed and breakfast and wrapping that up, we go back to it. I felt the whole entire time we were being watched. I think I was just so paranoid that my friend pissed off this haunted doll. I really felt like we were being watched. And I remember we were all like all at the pool just celebrating. Hey, I don't think we're dead yet. But we all felt that eerie feeling that we were being watched. Like something was just watching over us. So who knows? Did he attach to us? I don't know. But definitely, I'm not going to give too much information about what happened to my friend because I know it's personal. I feel like that is something that Melissa would have to say upon herself. But let's just say she definitely did not have any good luck whatsoever after visiting Robert the doll. And that is proven to be true by different experiences that happened to her in her life. So again, I don't want to describe what exactly happened to her, but let's just say I know for a fact she did not have any good luck. Now, I know that she denies it and she doesn't feel it's due to Robert. She just feels it's because of her dumb choices of life that she's made. But I personally think it has to do with Robert. And I've asked her several times to try to apologize to doll. Just give it a try. Just try apologizing to him. If you don't feel like it is, but just why not? Just give it a try. But she's very stubborn. She's an Aries, so she's love her. I'm still friends with Melissa still to this day, but she's very stubborn, so she refuses. And still to this day, I would think that she doesn't feel like she's haunted by Robert or cursed. I disagree. I truly feel that she is, and I still think to this day you need to write him a letter, Melissa. Even Nick has comment that he feels like he has bad luck. I don't know because he was the first one to step in and was already like dominant, trying to look at the place, like what's up. But I asked him like, why do you feel that? Because he didn't disrespect the doll. But he was like, I don't know what I done. But at the same time, like I felt like I got in trouble with the law and I, whatever. Like I have bad luck too. So again, could be. I ain't felt it so much, but it could be with Nick too. But I just think it was definitely more Melissa having that experience. So, yeah, don't mess with Robert the doll. It's no joke. Please respect him. Definitely, just don't do it. Do not do it. Also, I know what you guys are thinking as well. I'm sure you're wondering, is Melissa part of the post interview? No, she's not. Unfortunately, that was the number one person I had in mind, as you guys would probably want to follow up with her and see what she has to say about her experience and what she thinks of Robert the doll. She has turned down the post interview. As a matter of fact, I have to sadly announce that everybody has turned it down. Not that everybody's turned it down, but things have happened that the follow-ups cannot make it happen. Maybe Robert's part to blame, who knows. So that was a little unfortunate that, the three that were part of this crew, I guess, could not, do the post-interview follow-up. So that's okay. But before I pass this segment to Danny does have a very, very big special announcement to make. So he'll be announcing some stuff here shortly for us. But in the meantime, I do apologize that this episode will not have a post interview follow-up, just due to life, man. Also, who knows, maybe Robert's in control of this too. So anyways, you guys know what to do. Go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and subscribe here below. Click that subscribe button. So anyways, other than that, very exciting news too. Episode 3. I'm very, very, very excited about episode 3. I'm not going to give out too much detail yet. There will be another special announcement video of the release date and details releasing the location of episode 3. But let's just say episode 3 is more the maturity side of me becoming a paranormal investigator. So these 2 past episodes, you'll see that's more like photo evidence. Episode 3 is like me stepping up the game to the next level. In other words, like this was just my beginning phases and kind of realizing the role that I want to fit in as the investigator. But episode 3 is when I actually start investing in my equipment. I actually start having a camera so I could start recording my evidence. So stuff like that. I'm really excited to announce that'll be coming up on episode 3. So now you'll start seeing the real nitty gritty of the paranormal investigations I've done and the evidence I truly have captured other than photo evidence. So yeah, that's coming up. So stay tuned on that. And thank you for watching. So that pretty much sums up the episode of Robert the Doll. So hope you guys like it and let me know. Comment below. Do you feel like Robert's haunted? Other words, I do. I truly do feel like he's haunted. So if you do pay him a visit, remember, sorry, it sounded like I sounded really weird when I said that. If you do pay him a visit, just remember the 3 rules, okay? Do not forget those 3 important rules. Anyways, guys, I'm going to pass on this segment to Danny Zabaleta. He has some special announcements to make. And again, thank you for watching Supernatural Eye. My name is Francesca Garcia, and I hope you guys have a good night. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
We are live. This is another episode. This is Danny Zabaleta here with another episode of Supernatural Eye. Welcome back, everybody. Today we'll be doing the conclusion of the post interview for episode 2. Unfortunately, the rest of the cast members who are going to be included within this episode could not make it. It is my understanding that it is suspected to be Robert Stahl's doing out in Key West. There is some haunted activity that he carries. I don't know if that was the cause of the complication of why these members could not attend this interview, but we're just gonna have to move forward. We do have some exciting announcements to make. Francesca was asked and myself to join the Haunted Hermanas podcast. They cover a lot of the paranormal activity and topics in relation to that, so it's going to be super exciting. Really looking forward to join their podcast and have a conversation about what they're into and how we can collaborate and come up with some more content together. So we're looking forward to that. It's going to be dropping sometime in July. There is no date announced yet, but we'll definitely keep you guys posted. If you guys have not seen the first episode, please check us out on YouTube. If you have not subscribed, please hit the bell down below to get alerted and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys next time.
King